Lights, camera, action!
It is Cinco de Mayo. Put a shot of Patron in the freezer. Cheers, y'all. That was good. So, in this whole effort to be open, honest, transparent about my whole Los Angeles journey, I feel like it's important to just include all kind of aspects of my life, what's going on with me. And what made me think about doing this particular video, today on May 5th, Kevin Samuels passed away. If you're not familiar with Kevin Samuels, he's a pretty controversial figure, self-proclaimed, I guess, relationship guru or expert or whatever you want to call him. And, a lot of his stuff, just a lot of his teachings, if you will, a lot of the things that he said rubbed a lot of people, especially, I would say, black women, rubbed people the wrong way. And hey, look, I'm not here to discuss the merits of Kevin Samuels, teachings or whatever. That's not what this is about. Although I do think it's very interesting that people are openly celebrating his death. That's how hated he was by some people. People are I saw someone on Twitter say that they are smoking that Kevin Samuels pack tonight. And I'm just if you know what that means, that really means that, yeah. But the thing about Kevin, apparently he's only 56 years old. I don't know what the cause of death was. I don't think it's been released as of yet. People are speculating, but whatever. But 56 years old. 56 is not that old. And, it just got me to thinking. It got me to thinking today, but I always kind of think about this because black men, we tend to die young for various reasons. And I feel like black men who make it past a certain age, you make it past that age where you're young and reckless, you still end up dying relatively early just because of just health issues, among them heart disease, diabetes, right? These are the things that affect us, and you just disproportionately, and it's just we really need to take better care of ourselves. And I also think about my father a lot. My father passed away when he was 55 years old, and I always wonder whether I'm going to live beyond that. I've always just wondered, if I'm going to live past the age that my father lived to. And my father, he suffered from diabetes. That's not what he passed away from. But even still, it's just, you think about that shit. I think about that shit. And before I moved out to LA, I was honestly living wild. I was living reckless without a lot of regard for my health. And, I'd go to the doctor or whatever, but it was just let me get tested for STDs or whatever. Let me make sure that, I'm good on that front. And not really much else. Certainly not for things like diabetes or whatever. And when I tell y'all I was living reckless, I was drinking every day. Folks who've known me for a long time, they can tell you, I was drinking heavily every day. And to be honest, my diet was poor. I was eating good, whatever. But my diet was poor. And it wasn't until right before I moved to LA that I realized that, oh shit, I've gained some weight. Kid that used to be super skinny his whole life, is now lugging around, a little bit of fat. I've gotten fat. Despite everyone, you carry it well. Fuck all that. It's still fat. And so I felt in moving out to LA, this would be a great environment for me to get back into shape, to lose some weight, to drop all of my bad habits and adopt some good healthy habits. And I half-heartedly tried, like in the beginning. I joined a gym and, like whatever. But it wasn't until the pandemic struck that I just got scared. I was just like, oh, fuck, like what is happening to me? What's going on with me? What will happen to me? So I found a doctor that I was comfortable with. And just so y'all know, my doctor is a black man. And that was important to me because I just feel like when it comes to issues of health, healthcare providers don't all the time listen to what black people have to say. I feel like there's a lot of disregard for how we're feeling and the way we express ourselves and everything. And this has led to like a mistrust of like the medical community amongst black people. So, a lot of black people, I feel, don't, really like seek out like medical help when shit might be wrong, And I mean, I especially think that, black men are just like, yeah, I can just power through whatever's happening, it'll be fine. But I decided that I did not want to fall into that trap. I didn't want to be that. So I found a doctor, black male doctor, because I feel that, he would listen to me and take into account, what I'm saying. And I feel like, it's been beneficial. One of the first things that he pointed out, something that we discussed, was my high blood pressure. And that was something that I knew that I suffered from prior to moving out here, because my last doctor in New York, she was even like, yeah, your blood pressure is out of control. But I didn't want to take any medication. I didn't want to, do anything. I was working out, some before I moved out here. So I was hoping that I could just work out, lose some weight. That would lower the blood pressure. I didn't really keep up with that. So my doctor was just like, well, your blood pressure is high. Let's get you on some medication, because he was like, it's high to the point that, you could suffer a stroke like any time now. So I'm on blood pressure meds. There's that. But then in subsequent visits, it's just like, oh, your cholesterol is also super fucking high. And, oh, you're pre-diabetic. The cholesterol thing, I was like, okay, well, like whatever. But the pre-diabetes, that diagnosis really just kind of like hit me like, fucking Anvil in a Looney Tunes cartoon. And I made a video about that, when I got that diagnosis. And so I was just like, well, let me really take this shit seriously. So along with, just like continuing to take my blood pressure medication, I joined a gym again. But I really gave it my all. I worked out consistently. I tried eating better. I won't lie and say that I was just like super clean eating all the time. There were times where, yeah, sure, I'd get a Big Mac or I'd get a fucking cheesesteak from Charlie's or something like that. But I tried to eat better. Cook at home, eat things like chicken breasts and salmon, more vegetables, which I have no problem with. Like, this is all shit that I like. I like that sort of stuff more than I like, say, cake and pie and donuts and shit, which I indulge in every once in a while, but like once in a while, seriously. So, I thought I was doing the right thing, but even after like months of working out, I wasn't really seeing any results. I wasn't seeing like any kind of weight loss. I guess I was starting to see like a little muscle definition or whatever. But, I wasn't really seeing any weight loss, and I was getting kind of discouraged. And, I know it's supposed to be like a long game or whatever, but, after about 6 months of like working out like 5 days a week, like going hard in the gym, really working out and not really seeing any results, I just kind of, I just lost the motivation. This was around the time that, holidays. This was when I hung out with my family in Vegas and really started to kind of get back into bad eating habits. And, I fell out of like going to the gym regularly. Like I tried to, but I just fell out of the habit. Holidays came around and just eating terribly. And, I don't want to throw around the word depression, but, it was just kind of like, I wasn't feeling my best. And so, yeah, I haven't been working out lately and I've been eating poorly. And I went to see my doctor about 2 weeks ago. And it's just like I'm right back where I started. Like, whatever weight I might have lost working out, put that shit right back on. And, we do the test and everything. And it's just like I'm in a worse position than I was when I saw him last year. You know, like cholesterol levels are worse, and you know, I've edged on up there in the pre-diabetes to where I'm damn near diabetic. So I have to meet with another specialist in a couple of weeks, and we're going to discuss some treatments. You know, just to see. Because I certainly don't want to get on the cholesterol medication, what they call statins, because pretty much that's a done deal. You know, from my research, you get on statins, you're on them shits for the rest of your life. You know, at least with like the blood pressure medication that I'm taking, if I can shed some weight and like manage my weight and everything like that, my doctor says a very good chance that I can come off the blood pressure meds. And, you know, if I can, you know, manage to like, you know, get everything down, whatever, then perhaps, you know, I can reverse the pre-diabetes diagnosis that I've been given. So I don't know. I'm going to talk to this other doctor in a couple of weeks and see what's what. That is a lot of information. And that's very personal. But, you know, at the end of the day, is what it is. You know, I posted on Twitter that I got to correct this shit because I want to live to sell a script one day. And really not only that, but I want to live to, like, sell several scripts and make several movies and bask in whatever, like, film industry career is meant for me. I don't want to be somebody that sells a script and then I die. Then the script becomes a hit movie and all the accolades come in and I'm in my fucking grave. That would be terrible. I would be so upset. I'd be in the afterlife just like... But seriously, health. You got to take care of yourself. You got to think about that shit. And if you're young, I encourage you to think about it now. Because you don't want to get older and hit like your 40s or your 50s or whatever. And it's just like, oh shit, how can I fix this? You want to be preventative while you're still young. That's pretty much it, kids. That's all I wanted to talk about. Take care of yourself. See about your health. Make sure that everything is good.